guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to The Umbrella Academy. We're now into episode 5 of season 3, which is called Kindest Cut. Which, that is usually referencing when someone's got to do something pretty terrible, but they try to do it in the least painful way. But hopefully that won't be the case. So the last episode, we finally found out what that giant ball of light in the basement is. And as I think all of us pretty much figured at this point, it's bad news. And we also got the massive discovery that Five started the commission. He's the one who's the founder, and so some weird time loop. He somehow recruited himself years into the future and brought him into the very same commission, trained him up, let him live his life, etc., to all get back to this point. But unfortunately, older Five told younger Five that there's no way to stop this Kugelblitz, as it's called, that it basically means we're at the end. We're going to implode. There's going to be a reverse Big Bang. There will be nothingness, and there's not much he can do. And the last thing that he says to himself is, don't try to save the world. So that's very interesting because in seasons 1 and 2, what did Five do? He tried to stave off a worldwide event, right? It doesn't necessarily wipe out all of humanity, but enough for it to be devastating. So it makes you wonder, as I mentioned in the last episode, if maybe this whole end of, the world event, or at least end of a good chunk of the world event, needs to happen. And the fact that Five keeps circumventing it keeps making it worse and worse. But we don't really know that, and it's kind of early in the season to say that, but that's kind of my early guess. Besides that, we found out what happened to all the parents of the Umbrella Academy, with the exception of Ben, of course, which is that unfortunately, because Harlan can't control his powers, when his mother died, he had a huge burst of emotion, and somehow that burst attacked all of the moms, again, except for Ben's mom for some reason, and caused them all to die instantaneously. And this is before, of course, the Umbrella Academy people could be born. So that's why they don't exist in this world. So I'm ready to get into this episode. Before I do, though, you know that YouTube stuff. If it's your first time to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. If you're liking this video, I'd appreciate it if you show some love by hitting that thumbs up button. Helps out with the algorithm, helps this video get seen, and I appreciate it very deeply. And if you want to see more reactions from me, please hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified when I do more videos. And the same goes for those of you who've been here before. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back. Join the fam if you haven't already. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right about now. Oh, right, he died. I forgot. Oh, is this like what Klaus see? Like, is he finally going to visit the world that he's been like basically walking in since he got his powers?
Tell me which way that I'm supposed to go.
Interesting. Why is yellow the only color that's showing? Is he aware that he died? I somewhat feel like he might be, because he seemed like he had a moment of realization before he went down. But you never know what's going on with Klaus because he's so out of it most of the time. Oh, okay. The afterlife looking kind of chill. He can hang out here. Will you see Ben? The real Ben? Oh, that's like the door to the tomb that he used to get locked in. What a horrible, horrible metaphor. Little you.
Cessation of life function at 12 hours and 22 minutes. Restarting the timer to reanimation.
He's been dying this whole time? Klaus comes back and he doesn't remember. I had to wonder if maybe part of his power was coming back from the dead, but I thought maybe not, because we've never seen him heal up or anything.
Childhood trauma.
And the live and die, like, remember in first episode of the first season, he OD'd, but I thought that was because he came back because they revived him.
These were
Death experiences.
actual death experiences.
And his father never told him that he can come back from the dead? Man, every time you think their papa couldn't be more of a jackass.
I could tear you to atoms.
Try it.
Really? There are other people in this hotel. Can you stop? Y'all having this death battle because y'all want to prove a point. Sir, quit your job. It's not worth it. You're not getting paid enough. I already know whatever it is, you're not getting paid enough. Do y'all feel better now?
It was an accident.
27 dead women is not an accident.
You're supposed to understand, Mommy.
Don't bring Sissy into this.
She swore you'd come back to us, make things right again.
So it was on purpose.
It was too late. I pushed back. After that, I just hid myself away.
So it was an accident, but it wasn't? I mean, I kind of believe he wouldn't kill those women, but who knows what he's been through, All that room damage is going to be going on your bill, just so you know.
I'm here. You are okay.
Oh, not her having a nightmare within a nightmare. It's like a reverse Inception.
It's been a long...
I mean, I know it's kind of like sad, but truthfully, it might make you feel better to know that he's technically old enough to be your grandpa. Who will shield Allison from her nightmares now? This show had better give her back her daughter, at the very least, if she can't have the love of her life, because this is some bull. But in fairness, like, I don't think any of them have gotten a healthy relationship. Like, not one of them has had the luxury of having a happy marriage, you know, or a happy long-term relationship. All of them have been dysfunctional thanks to their father and their lives, really.
I'm never gonna hurt anyone. Ever. That part's not me, that's
me.
That's true. Victor's been pretty murderous since day one.
I need to tell your family what I did to them.
No, no.
He should tell them.
Consequences. Like what?
Well, the end of the world. Whoopsies.
People from all over the world are disappearing now. We need to work together with the umbrellas.
Wow, Faye should be number one.
He needs to be dealt with before we can merge the families.
And if they refuse, how do we save the world?
Yeah, smart ass. I still love you, Ben, but you're annoying me, man.
What's going on?
God, he got you too?
He thinks everyone got beat up by Harlan. Stop it. Y'all handled that beautifully.
That's toast.
His face, he's like, really?
Did you and Allison get into some kind of fight last night? Hell yes.
Oh, I forgot about this.
I swear to God, I've never seen her do things like she did yesterday. She was brutal.
I mean, I think she's always had it in her, but she's kept it back. You can't live in the world that they do and not carry a lot of rage.
You gotta blow some steam off. I help.
Does it look like she's calmed down? You think like the steam's gone?
Our little paradox brought forth a freaking Kugelblitz.
We have no idea what that means.
Stand! Stand!
Poor kid. But I mean, really, playing with guidance, even if they're harpoons. Him trying to clean up the evidence. Oh my God.
Told me to clean up my own mess.
Something's wrong with this kid.
A valuable lesson.
He's actually insane.
Responsibility.
Yeah, I'm not
Like, I
buying
know
that.
he's got no
What's going on?
emotional attachment to Klaus, but geez.
But you gotta promise you won't be pissed.
That was kind of a hard one.
And it was fine. Until the gun went off.
And you were going to clean it
And
up.
you were gonna dissolve the body?
And then I'd have to go to prison, join a gang for protection, and end up in the hole.
I mean, the fear's valid, but that fact that was his first move kind of scares me.
I used to think he could survive anything. And now he's dead.
Kind of can. Please give him a hug. I mean, it's horrible. He should not be playing with those things, but he didn't mean it. And that's a terrifying lesson. I wonder if he never remembers his time in this place. I'm even wondering if he came here in the past.
I'm at peace.
Ah, peace is overrated.
And chaos is exhausting.
Only for amateurs. I'm a professional, Mom.
Oh. Of all of them, I feel like Klaus appreciates this the most. Just because he's so good at being in the moment.
I know I'm new to this whole mom thing, but aren't you supposed to help me? Your son. What's so funny?
This is hilarious. Parents are not supposed to give you your life purpose, honey.
No wonder you can't see what's right in front of you all alone.
Menudo? A bear?
Randomly collapsing matter every moment in time across all existence till nothing's left.
Hate to say I told you so, but
You love to say I told you so.
He does. But he's so good at saying it.
It doesn't matter who created the damn thing. We just have to kick its ass.
Oh, really? How? Are you and Diego gonna punch it in the kugel?
Not the dumbest one cracking some jokes.
Just go get the door. No, just go way over there. Way by the...
He's just taking a long nap.
Playing a game. What's it called? Guy in a carpet. I hope you win.
Exactly. In this hotel, do you ask questions?
It's heavy.
Press the button.
Well, only because he's dead weight. No pun intended. And also, how do the rest of them don't know that he can come back?
Celestial, come down.
bitch!
What the hell? Really? You just gonna dash him away like that?
Me too.
This kid is now traumatized fully. Like, how does no one else know about this?
It's already healing.
What would happen if we were to cut off your head? Would it grow two of you?
Would it?
This kid is so weird.
Oh, look, give me that. What happened to you? Oh, just a spear gun to the chest. No big deal. What did we miss?
The way that they're just like, we're not even gonna ask. Is this scanning? I guess so.
Hey, watch it, grab her!
Is that a smart idea? You probably just took out like 2 populations. That's a great graph. Huh. Only in North America so far.
What the hell was that?
The Kugelblitz.
4, maybe 5 days before the rest of existence is blitzed.
Allison's like, I'm just gonna stay drunk. That's probably my answer too. Like, why even stay sober at that point? Oh, she's having a panic attack. Oh, poor Allison. This is the wrong time for everything.
What Grace is describing as a black hole collapsing in on itself.
Hey! Should be number 1.
Turn him over, we could end the fighting. And then work together to save the world. But if we didn't...
Oh, that came out very British. Save the world.
And what now? I'm supposed to just decide whether he lives or dies?
Victor, we're down to ethical triage here, all right? We can't save everyone.
That is a very cool term, but yes.
Let me do it.
Yeah.
But we never tried together. I bet we can get it right this time.
What are we talking about when we say fix things? Does he mean taking powers away? I'm still confused what this means. I do think he needs to have the powers removed, but...
2.
Looks as good as new.
Wait, behind you.
You're a less terrible father than I thought you'd be.
Yeah, I think I'm winning him over. I think all you gotta do is, like, show a little bit.
I mean, I guess I was gonna say, is this the time? But you know, the world be ending, so do what you gotta do. Ew, there was a corpse in here. And how did no one notice that the wall opened? Wait, what if it's keeping something in? Well, they'll find out soon enough.
Hey.
Oh, you remembered I'm here.
Everything's ending.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
Yeah, that part.
Yeah.
You know, in another world, these two would have been cute.
Come here.
Yes, a hug is what you need. Not beating up very much deserving people at a bar. A big monkey hug. Where is Pogo? Speaking of monkeys. No, we're not going there. We're not going there.
Oh, God.
Oh, rejection on top of everything else. Oh, don't lash out.
You're blowing me off for some knockoff you've known for 5 minutes?
Damn! She's jealous!
If you had Ray and Claire back, would you even be here?
But they're not back, are they?
Yeah, and I get that you need a distraction, but you can't use me for that.
I can if I want to.
Is she gonna rumor him?
I heard a rumor you stay.
Allison. Bad girl. Bad girl.
I heard a rumor. You want me.
Well, that's now dead and buried. You know, this is so gross. I mean, it was always going to be gross, but now this is weird. And it's kind of, it's now a lack of consent. No. No, you should want it, Allison. Take it. You wanted this. Damn, Allison is spiraling bad. It's so bad because when women are rejected, it's ugly.
Okay, I will take him somewhere safe. But Victor, you have to tell them.
Also, you've been drinking a lot. Should you be driving anywhere? You've been drunk for like 4 days. I don't trust her. I think Allison's gonna take him straight to the Sparrows. She's in a self-destructive mood right now.
Congratulations, Victor. You managed to destroy everything. Again.
I knew it was coming. Maybe that is Victor's destiny.
That went great.
Hey, remember the bear you saw in Death? Can we go back to that?
It's crazy. Almost the exact same thing happened to me, but I didn't hold me. Not to say did.
The fact that these two never actually talked to each other.
Fresh tattoo. Ugh. Is this your skin?
The way he's so, like, intrigued.
Symbol of the biker gang, the Mothers of Agony.
How do you know this?
Because, you know... Thank you, Klaus. All right, great talk.
The fact that he's going to go and actually walk the exact same path now as his forebears. Watch, he's going to have a tattoo by the end of the season. This is what people always forget about the whole time thing, is that when you see things, you shouldn't be like so quick to think that it wouldn't happen, you know? And there's that whole question of like, would that have happened anyway, or are you doing it because of what happened in the future?
Can I come in?
Always.
This guy must want to just die. I was right. It's keeping something in. Don't touch it. Wash your hands. That is pretty cool. That definitely levels Klaus's powers up a lot. I just don't get how he doesn't figure that by going to this club, which is something his other self clearly did, that like he wouldn't potentially end up falling in the same footsteps. Close your eyes. You're too young.
Looking for you.
Pogo! Finally! Wait, how did he end up here? It feels like a step down, but maybe not, because dealing with those children would have been hell. They were all little jerks. All right, guys. Well, that was episode 5 of Umbrella Academy. And I feel like the biggest takeaway for me is the fact that Klaus is essentially immortal. I mean, we don't know. I mean, with all these types of powers, there's usually always something that's a little too much. Like, I feel like, you know, as horrible as it sounds, if he was like decapitated or something, he probably couldn't come back from that. But now we know that he actually has come back on his own 56 times. Like, that's insane. But it looks like he actually, I thought like at first maybe he didn't remember. Like, I'm like, how did he not know about this? Did he not remember? But it turns out he did remember, and he just thought, because, you know, this kid has not been okay for a long time. He just thought he was having an imaginary thing. Like, and it makes sense because as a child, not being able to process something that deep, he would have made up a story to like deal with it. And as he became an adult, as we know, he became an addict and an alcoholic and all these other things. So he probably just thought that he was having like really bad hallucinogenic dreams, not realizing that it was a real thing, that he was actually dying, going into basically the, what would you even call it? Purgatory, the underworld, whatever, and then coming back time after time. But the fact, I'm wondering if his father ever told him that. Because as we saw, his dad clearly knew it was happening, but it sounds like he never told the other people, because none of the other kids seem to know that Klaus keeps coming back. So I don't know if like their dad must have kept that from them. Maybe they just told him, or I don't know, he must have given them some kind of story of what would happen when Klaus actually died. But that's insane. That's actually like, I feel like that kind of levels him up quite a bit. Not that any of their powers are like weak or whatever, but Klaus has always seemed like the one that was a bit strange in the sense of it's like, okay, you can talk to the dead, you can somewhat channel them, but how good is that? But he's essentially immortal. Like I said, like if he can come back from pretty much anything, that's pretty dope. That means he's pretty much a formidable person to take with you into battle. Now, again, like I said, there's probably an upper limit to that, but you now know he can take a harpoon to the heart and survive. So I really love the scene we got though with him and his mom in the afterlife. He has been searching for some sort of connection for seasons now. And I love that, you know, he got the knowledge that she's at peace, because I think that's something that he was really worried about. And also that she basically told him that he's got to find his own life purpose. Like he's been looking to his mom, to his father, to his siblings, like anything, to kind of find a reason to do whatever it is he's doing. And she's like, no, you have to decide that for yourself, Klaus. Like you're drifting. You have been drifting for a long time. But if you want purpose, you have to decide what it is. Out of all the kids to get to see and meet their mother in some way, I feel like Klaus was the best one, or at least the best first one, because he is so good at being present, right? Like he seems loopy and a bit crazy, but honestly, he's always in the moment. You never see him worrying about 10 days down the line. He doesn't focus too much on the past, even though he's clearly still traumatized by it. But really his superpower is staying in the present. And that might be connected to his power actually, because he's seen so much death. He's dealt with so many people who have, you know, probably lamented to him about all the things they wish they had done when they were alive. And that kind of exposure, I think, would very much remind you of how important it is to be in the present and enjoy today, because you just don't know if you're going to have it tomorrow. So anyways, that was a cute moment and a beautiful moment for Klaus. But again, love finding that out about him and that he has this new power. Again, he saw that bear. Like, remember, he saw a bear as well when he was inside that weird room. That's going to lead up to something, I'm sure. I'm like the fact that he's the only one who's seeing it. But as usual, Klaus doesn't really put things together strategically. He just kind of gets these images, but he's got a great memory, as we've seen. So it'll come up in some way. Allison. Oh, we need to talk about Allison. Oh, poor Allison. Like it's so sad and frustrating to see, because as I've said for several episodes now, Allison is definitely going through grief. It's hard She's someone who's used to being the good girl and kind of keeping everything down and trying to be, the exemplary child, but that unfortunately does not work when you have real emotions to deal with, and Allison does. She's been through a lot. She's lost a lot. So much of it's been out of her control. Some of it was her own doing, like in the first season, what happened between her and her husband and that custody situation with her daughter. That was due to her abusing her power. But of course, she never thought she'd get to a situation where she may never see her daughter again. And then, of course, with Ray losing the love of her life. So it's been a lot back to back to back. And Allison is feeling very out of control right now and alone and scared and angry and all those things you feel when you've gone through a lot of loss and you're grieving. It doesn't excuse, however, the way that she's dealing with it. This anger portion she's in right now, it is a destructive phase of grief, unfortunately, for many people. If they don't have a proper outlet, if they don't have someone to talk to honestly about it and talk through it, it can be very damaging. And people do often say and do a lot of hurtful things when they're in that space. I mean, later on, when they come out of it, they're often very, very, very sorry about it. But in the middle of it, when they're in the thick of it, it can get really bad. And that's kind of where Allison is. Like that whole bar fight thing, I'm glad they didn't show us because we didn't need to see it, but it didn't help, right? I'm sure she didn't feel any better after doing any of that, hurting those people, letting that ugliness out. Yeah, it might have maybe given her a little release, but let's be real. The grief is still there. The pain is still there. She's not addressing the issue, which is that she is really feeling this loss and she needs to just let herself feel it. She's not letting herself do that. She's drinking herself into oblivion every single day or distracting herself with something that she can punch or hurt. That's not dealing. She needs to just accept the fact that she's lost some things and it hurts and it sucks and it's okay to be just down and out and laying in bed for a few days if that's what it takes. But you got to go through it because if you don't, this cycle continues. And she definitely crossed the line with Luther in this episode. I mean, their whole relationship has always been hella complicated. And I think she really just does need someone to just kind of hold her and let her just kind of let this all out. But Luther has his own things going on. Like Luther has spent a long time simping for Allison, knowing it was one-sided. And also we knew that because of the situation of how they grew up together and things, like their relationship was never going to really be conventional, or it was always going to feel like something was quite a little bit off. Even though there's no genetic component there, it was always going to be a little bit weird. But I think I'm glad that Luther finally got a chance to say what he felt there and telling Allison, like, what do you want from me? Like, you're the one who kept telling me that this couldn't happen between us, and I've had to swallow it and try to accept it. And we saw last season he was really hurt by her getting married to Ray, but he accepted it because he knew that was something that wasn't his decision. And now he's moving on, albeit with a very strange choice. And like her saying, I mean, I knew Allison was going to be jealous. Like, I just knew it. I'm like, I'm waiting for Allison to say something because I know the sad, twisted part of all of this is that in the back of her mind, Allison has always thought that he was always going to be a backup plan. Like, no matter what, I'm going to have Luther. If anything ever comes down to it, I can always go back to Luther. And that's no longer going to be the case. Luther's moving on and he's finding someone that he was going to put him first. And he deserves to have somebody who wants to put him first. But Allison's not ready to let go of that right now. And in the midst of everything, she goes to have this kiss, but it's not really even a kiss of like she wants to be with Luther. It's a kiss of I'm grieving and I just want another distraction. And Luther, he's moving on, but also I think he recognized that this wasn't a real thing. This was not the moment for this to happen. And of course, like I said in the episode, women do not take rejection well. We tend to be horrible with it, actually. This is where I got to give men their props because it takes a lot to put yourself out there and get rejected. And in Western society, a lot of societies actually, men are usually socialized to make the first move with a woman or to put those feelings out there. And the fact that a lot of men do that knowing that they might get rejected it takes a lot of balls. It takes a lot of balls to take that risk and to just kind of take the hurt that comes with not getting what you want. Women do not take it gracefully at all. They tend to get it's a pride thing for a lot of women. And I think that's again because we're socialized to believe that men are supposed to always want us, like we're the prize. And when we don't, suddenly we discover that maybe someone doesn't want us, it can be a real pride or like a real ego prick. And that clearly happened to Allison here, not to mention, of course, on top of all the other issues she had. Plus she's been drinking constantly for the last 3 days. So it was just it was a terrible combination, terrible things. And that kind of being like yet another bad thing to happen. And instead of her, I think if she wasn't where she is right now, she wouldn't have reacted quite that badly. I think she still would have been salty, but her trying to rumor him forced him into staying. Like, Allison, you already know that using your powers with someone you care about does not end well, sis. Like, why would you do this? But I get why she did it. She said it right afterwards. She's like, I'm sick and tired of people deciding, how much I'm allowed to lose. And that's her frustration, right? Is the fact that she feels like after everything that's happened over the last few seasons, she's lost the most. And I would agree that when it comes to personal connections, she's definitely lost two very huge ones in her life. I mean, we now know that Victor lost Sissy see, but you know what I'm saying. Overall, she definitely has lost two very, very important people in her life. So I get it. She feels out of control, as I mentioned, but it does not justify what she did to Luther. She knew it was wrong when she was doing it. And a part that I think was really just the part was when he's like, you don't get to just jerk me around and use me when you're ready to make yourself feel better. And she's like, yes, I can. Right? Like that. But that's what she really believes, right? Like I said, that's the backup plan. Luther's always been her backup plan. She really did feel like she's entitled to that. And so she needed a wake up call. I'm sorry that it ended the way it did. Obviously, I feel like something between them is going to be broken at this point, but probably in a good way, in the sense of Luther, I think, needed kind of a final push, because I think there's still a part of him that still is somewhat in love with Allison. But I think after this, that's severed. That part was sad, but I kind of knew this was happening. Allison has been spiraling, or as Luther said, drowning. And I do hope that her breaking point comes soon, because they really need her to be focused. Like, we really don't need Allison completely spinning out at this point. But I understand. For her, she feels like there's no win to this. Like, she feels like even if they do jump to a new situation, it's probably going to end up being worse than the one she's already in. So I don't know what that breaking point is going to be for her, but I hope it comes soon and that more people kind of see that she's not doing okay and take real time to kind of address it and talk to her about it. As for the Harlan thing, I don't know where that's going to go. So I do think that Victor should be given the opportunity to rectify that before everyone throws in the towel. Even though, especially since like Victor was right, like even if they do kill Harlan, there's no guarantee it's not going to stop the Kugelblitz, right? Or maybe it will, because now it feels like they might be connected. We saw very little of the Sparrow Academy this episode, which is fine. Ben, I love him, but seriously, this version of Ben is so irritating. He's just so dumb. The other Ben would hate this Ben. He really would. He'd be so mad. But anyway, Faye showing that she's got the brains of the operation, saying, look, we need to team up. This thing is way bigger than all of our teams. You're holding on to petty stuff. Let's work with this. But he's just so adamant on taking out Harlan for his pride. That's really the real reason, because he didn't care about his siblings. We know that. He's really just mad that he got showed up by, in his mind, an octogenarian. I'd really love to see what the robot saw when they put the eye inside of the Kugelblitz. But the fact that the robot was assigning emotions, saying that God is angry and that God, what was the other thing they said? But both of those things sound more like a person than an entity. So I've got real questions here. And this is why I feel like it's tied to Harlan. I still think that's my theory, is that this is actually Harlan and it's not this event that they're saying. But I think it's growing into this event, but I think it's powered by Harlan. So I do think we might have to lose Harlan. I feel like there's some events that need to happen that we don't want to happen. And one of them might be, quote unquote, ending the world. And the other one might be that Harlan has to die, when he was supposed to die, 30, 50 years prior, whatever it was supposed to be. I think that was pretty much it for the episode, other than seeing Pogo finally, wondering where he was this whole season. But here he is working at a tat shop of all places. But we saw that he's not been around, and we know that Pogo was definitely with Papa back in the 60s at that point. So what happened? Can Pogo talk now? And if he's here because the Sparrows got rid of him, or if Papa got rid of him sooner than that because he just thought it was the right thing to do. I keep saying Papa instead of Dad because I've just watched Stranger Things, so Papa is going to be in my mind for a while, so my apologies if I'm confusing anyone. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed watching, you stuck around through this long ass review, please give this video a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it, and we will see you in the next video.